Welcome back, everybody, to the Power Team Will podcast. I'm your host, David. And as we continue into episode 3, this is episode 3 of we talking about education. Talking about how each education is just a little bit different. The nuance of having the difference of being in different education systems. And I'm back with my wife. My wife, again, is...
Hi, I'm Latoya.
Miss Latoya, of course. This is my individual we've been married for quite some time, and she teaches...
Elementary.
What level?
5th grade.
5th grade. So if you've been following us, we talked about lesson plans. We talked about the district. We talked about the structure of the doggone what? Curriculum. She teaches ELA, math, science, all these different types of things. Since the students' connection, it's been a phenomenal experience learning about how the education system where we live at roll and how it's going. So today is a unique topic. We're going to talk about parent relationships. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about parent relationships in the stance of 5th grade elementary school. I'm going to try to do my best not to give my take on it because I am an educator myself and I don't want to, tell you how I feel. I just want to hear it from an elementary school standpoint. So talk to me, Toya. How do you create a positive environment relationship with your parents? Talking about positive. How do you create a positive
Well, I know before you asked me if lesson planning was taught when I went to college, and it was, but parent relationships, communication is not really taught. It is something that you have to learn. Because
hold on, when you say not taught, like when you went to school for early childhood education, they didn't talk to you about parent relationships and stuff like that?
It was very broad. It wasn't in depth like how
they covered it in the curriculum, but
yes.
You think they should have went in a little bit more detail?
Yes.
Okay.
So with parent relationships, I have learned that it's best to keep open communication with your parents. So we have different ways that we communicate with
now
the parents. I mean,
the school has something.
Yes.
Okay, what does the school have? So the school tell you to do something?
Like we have different, I guess, apps, platforms.
Okay. So the school gives you different platforms to communicate with the parents.
Yes.
I thought you were saying like the principal saying that you need to reach out to that parent.
Well, at the beginning of the year, they do tell us that here's your roster, here is the point of contact for that student. Well, first we send out a card in the mail welcoming the student to our class.
Mm-hmm. Is that by school? School make you do that?
Our school does it.
Yes.
I don't know it.
Yeah, your school.
Yes.
So the principal tell y'all send these cards out?
Yes.
Do you have to pay for the cards or the school provides y'all the cards?
No, it's pre-printed. We just write the student name and address and
Okay.
no, we just write the student name and then sign our name.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give us a sticker with the address already printed.
So you don't have to pay for it?
No, we fill it out and then we take it back to the school and they mail it.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were going to tell me like, the school may tell me I need to go buy a card, mail it out on my own dime.
No, it's provided for you.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, because I missed that one. You didn't tell me that one. But go ahead.
No, it's provided. And then as you get closer to the start of school, they ask you to reach out to the parents. Basically...
like how? Email, phone call?
They would like a phone call.
So what do you do?
Phone call, and if my students are already in my Remind, which is another form of communication.
It's an app that's given to us the way we can communicate with the student.
Then I'll send a reminder.
Students
message.
And parents. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Elementary, and I know for sure elementary students do not have access to Remind. So, yeah. But at the beginning of the year, we reach out to the parents, introduce ourselves, and then find out how the students are getting home. Then throughout the year, we use Remind, of course, email, and then every Friday, a yellow behavior card goes home where we have to fill in how the student's week was, and then we send it home, and the parent's supposed to sign it and send it back. There's a place for us to write comments, and then there's a place for a parent to write comments.
You ever had it when a parent write any good comments or bad comments?
No, because
they just normally sign it and send it back.
Yeah. Like, for me, I like to communicate with my parents in real time.
What does that mean?
So,
ain't no such thing as fake time.
Real time meaning right then and there when something happens.
Oh.
So if something happens,
we talking about positive. So if something positive happened, you call them right then.
Positive or negative, yes.
Oh, okay.
So
what would be something that you would call a parent for saying that the student's done something good, something that you can remember?
I had one student. We had some district level people in my classroom, and they were asking questions, and she was the only one who provided an answer. Like, she raised her hand and provided.
She wasn't scared.
No, she was scared, but she did it anyway.
You can tell she was scared?
Yeah, because she's not one of the ones who would normally
raise her hand.
Yes. So after they left, I sent the parent a remind message, letting them know that I was proud that the student stepped up and.
What, did the parent say anything?
Yeah, she responded that she was glad that the student was doing that. They were talking to her at home about being more of a leader than a father.
Yeah, because one thing I noticed, and I think it goes overlooked, that normally when you get that phone call home, the stigma
negative
behind it is always something negative. So even when I got to school, I wanted to make sure that I called parents when good things would happen, or send a good email, what I like, and be able to characterize that to the parents, because I think that don't get enough done. But negative stuff always go home.
Yes.
But you say if something bad, and you call the parents right there on the spot.
Yes. Because for me, that lets me know, especially if the parent talks to the student and handles it right there. That let me know that me and that parent is on the same page. And the student knows, hey, if I do something, my mom or my dad is going to know right then and there. It's not going to be waiting until I get home. And
because we had that talk. Remember, you saying that somebody was doing something in the classroom, and you like, no, I had to call home right there. I said, wasn't that serious? Don't call home. You like, no, that parent need to know.
Yes.
I always feel like if I can handle it in the classroom, I'm gonna handle it in the classroom, and there's no need to call the parent on it. But I'm dealing with older kids. Now, if you was in high school, would you still make that phone call home?
It depends on the severity of the problem. Now, if it's something, I'm not gonna. If you talking and I tell you to be quiet once, I'm not gonna call your parent. But if I have told you several times to be quiet, and now it's becoming a disruption.
Let's say little Johnny say, shut the fuck up, to little Susie. You can call her?
I'm going to dial the number. I'm going to talk to Lil Johnny's mom first, or dad. And then I'm going to let Lil Johnny tell his mom or dad what he said to Lil Susie.
Okay. Right then.
Yes.
You ain't wasting no time with it.
No.
So, do y'all write students up? Do they have some type of discipline?
Yes, we do have we call it a behavior matrix. And it tells us certain offenses where we handle it in the classroom as a teacher, and then other offenses if it needs to go up front to an administrator. But this year I have never had to use the matrix side where it goes up to an administrator. Well,
I've noticed something that you said specifically. You teaching gifted students.
Yes.
So do you think that the parents are as engaged?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, I know so.
What about when you wasn't teaching gifted students? Do you feel like the parents was just the same level of engagement, or no?
No.
Uh,
Because when it comes to teaching gifted students, the parents, they they are a lot more, well, they are engaged. They are highly engaged.
in the kids' education.
Yes.
Mm.
Because
And usually the other class they're not the gifted students.
yeah.
Some parents are engaged,
Yeah,
but
I
you feel like
had-
the percentages are less.
Yes. In an non-gifted class.
So, okay. So, how important do you think, as an educator, that it's important for the parent to be engaged with their child's education? Do you think? Because you taught you taught a non-gifted class, and you
Yes.
taught a gifted class. You know, why do you think it's important?
Because one, it not only, I mean, it holds the students accountable.
Mm-hmm.
If my parent is engaged in my education, they know what I'm supposed to be doing. So if they know what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm not doing it, and my teacher tells them that I'm not doing it, then I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get chewed out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get my phone taken away and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the students perform better when parents are, engaged in their education?
I do, yes.
Mm-hmm. So you seen better test scores too?
Yes, because I have parents asking me for study guides. What is my child learning? One parent, she want week by week. What is my child learning? Which technically we are supposed to have a newsletter, but if we send out the newsletter, it just tells you the standard.
Yeah.
The standard, it could be multiple different things under that one standard. And all we have to do is send out the standard.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll ask or reply with what exactly is my child learning.
I feel like that's important, because what I notice is that, especially the students that's failing, the parents don't know they're failing. And I don't know how in 2024, 2025 you don't know your students failing.
I don't know either. There is our parent portal.
Why do you think, I don't even want to get into it. It's like, it's better to debate. But it's like, all these platforms that you have, parent, all that, why don't parents check the grades and what their children learning? I don't understand it.
I can't answer that, but I take...
Because no one checked mine, that's why.
I take the responsibility off of me and put it on my students, because
What you mean?
I teach them how to go in and check their grades to see what they're missing. I make sure they know exactly what's going to be graded. So when it's time for grades, or
The students should already know.
yes, or if
And
something is missing, because some parents, they have it set up where every time the teacher puts in an assignment, they get a notification. So I can put in an assignment, and if this one student gets maybe a 75 or 78, this parent is texting me, asking me, is there something that student can do to bring up that grade?
Hold on, time out. Quick note. Hey everybody, listen. I don't care what district you're in. This is 2024 going in 2025. I'm telling you, I have to believe that every school system, and this is maybe just hyperbole, every school system has to have some type of online platform where you can check their grades and you can get instant notifications. If you don't know how your student and your child is performing in that school, that is your fault as a parent.
Yep.
That is not the teacher's fault.
Yep. I even go as far as going through the grade book and telling students what assignment they're missing.
And I would say, I'm high school, and I got parents that ask me that question. It's like, hey, why my student? They even know when their child is marked absent.
Yep.
They get a notification. When my child is absent, I get a notification. But usually I already know because they doing some type of testing. And I got to give it a minute
Or
update.
something.
Or he's going for band. I know what my child is missing. I'm telling you, I be having students at high school that be having so many missing assignments, so many tardies, absence, and I have to notify the parent. Whoa,
Yeah.
why are you waiting for this to be the third time you tell me? Hey, and I have to tell them the school policy is first time I address it with the students. You know, second time I address it with the students, but I still mark third time I have to send something home. Why? Can you send something home the first time? No, sir. What I can do for you is on your phone you can download the Infinite Campus app, and you can get the notifications to your phone when your child is absent or tardy. There's no way that a parent should be there asking me why my child in school, why my child is tardy, and what my child is missing.
Even in elementary school, I go to the point where I let the student know, hey, grades are going in this weekend or something like that. And I'll send out a message to the parents, hey, we went through
See, that's
today.
too much.
It is too much.
That is too much.
It is.
Like to be teaching in the classroom, like I can't stand emails. That's too much. I can't do it.
And so
I commend you.
I let students know.
Well, I can do it, but it's just a lot.
It is. I let students know, hey, when I put your grades in, you already know what your grades are. When I put your grades in, make sure if your parent asks you about your grades, make sure that you address it with them first, they address it with you first, before you or they try to address it with me. Because they're going to send me a message about your grade, and I'm going to ask them if they addressed it with you first.
Okay, let's talk about this. Because I've heard this before. Your job is to teach, ma'am, not me. But how many students approximately in your class?
24.
Let's say you got 24 students, right? Can you truly take the time with that one student? Can you? Is it that easy to do if they're not getting it?
No, it's not.
So, as a parent, when that child goes home and they're not getting it, they're not understanding, and you want the teacher to do it, it's like what can you do to help that child? Maybe get one-on-one help, get more assistance. Can you do something as a teacher?
If it's ongoing, I could have the parent. I could tell the parent no. Let the parent know that, hey, I noticed that Brenda, every assignment, she needs extra time. So if I give Brenda extra time every single assignment, then Brenda's going to be behind.
Yeah.
And I could tell the parent that maybe she needs to talk to the response to intervention teacher.
What is it? Response? What is that?
To intervention. Intervention is when a student needs extra help in reading or math.
They can get that at your school.
Yes. So.
Well, why don't you just refer them to them?
Refer the student?
Yeah.
Because I can't refer the student. The parent has to.
Oh, wow.
So that puts it back on the parent.
The parent can't read.
Well, we have
because the easiest scapegoat is to blame the teacher.
Yes,
but it might be something. But
that's why the parent has to push for the accommodation.
So is that what you talk about, like the 504?
Yes, just the 504.
504 is what we call in our district. You get accommodations for students.
Yes.
They get extra time for testing. What else? What else?
Small groups, stuff like that.
Small group. And then they have this thing that we call IEP.
IEP is legal, so that means that this student
has some type of learning disability.
Yes.
Or something like that. And these are maybe what you call it when you read numbers backwards.
dyslexia
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Some documented like medical
Diagnosis.
condition.
But yes, you get there's a whole process that you got to go get your child.
Yes.
And
But
you-
we also have EIP services, and that is also early intervention. It's called early intervention program, where students who early intervention is like they lack in the basic multiplication.
But it all comes down to who?
the parent.
The parent.
Yes.
Why do people put it on the school?
So what we do is we document patterns.
Yeah.
And then the actual testing that they do, like the STAR testing in different district or even state mandated
But so let me
tests.
even talk about this though. EIP 504s, it all comes down to parent engagement. Let me tell you why. And you tell me if I'm wrong. If my child is not doing the work in the class, then how am I supposed to assess that? Like the child just not doing the work.
That's why you document it.
But you reach out to the parent.
Oh, yes.
Your child's failing, they're just not doing the work.
The first thing is, if the child is not doing the work, then if I give the child an assignment and they didn't do it, they get marked as 0 or missing.
Yeah.
That goes in the grade book.
And every parent should know
notification.
That's a red flag.
Yes. Why are you missing? We are in week 6 of the second quarter. Why are you missing every single assignment?
And we've already
ELA?
sent notifications home.
Yes.
Now, what I've noticed sometimes parents don't even put the right email address, numbers on there.
So with
they
that,
don't want the school having access to this stuff.
every time you contact a parent, you are supposed to document it in our Infinite Campus.
Yeah, you got to put it in the contact log.
Yes.
You know, so when a child end up failing,
you have your documentation.
That's not a teacher thing. We reached out.
Yes, and remind in email is the best, because remind in the email is set up through the district. So if they need proof, they can go into remind.
Hold on, I'm going to cut you off. But have you ever had a situation where you had, in your other class, not gifted, I don't think you have that problem in the gifted kids I don't think you had that problem. But let's say in other class.
So before you move forward, not all 24 students in my class are gifted.
Okay.
It's gifted and high achievers.
Okay.
I have officially 8 gifted students.
Oh, wow.
And the rest of them are considered high achievers.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess what I was going to ask is, have you ever reached a case where you reached out to the parents and the parents just didn't take any action? It just seemed like they didn't care.
Yes.
So what do you do?
Document it. And for me, I go and seek assistance from one of the coaches.
Or the counselor.
Yes. The counselor definitely after. Well, I don't immediately reach out to the counselor. I try other avenues first, because once I reach out to that counselor and tell them I've done this, this, and this, they can hit that parent for neglect. So that's why I don't immediately reach out to the counselors. I try several different things. I even go to the principal to figure out if there is something that I could do.
Well, call me a bad teacher, because I'm telling all of them. Hey, listen, I have cases where I haven't seen the kid in 5 days. If I haven't seen the kid in 5 days, I send an email to the parent, to the counselor, and the principal.
For me, I do 2 days, 3 days tops.
I can't teach if you ain't been there.
So if I have a student out 2 days, I reach out to the parent. If I have a student out 3 days, because technically in elementary school, I don't know how they do it in all the other schools, 10 consecutive absences, you get withdrawn.
You get withdrawn. Yeah, that's the district policy.
Oh, okay. So, but on day 3, for me, it's no longer a academic. For me, it's a wellness.
Yeah.
Especially if I reach out and I don't hear nothing.
But listen, I'm gonna be honest, because I know not every teacher. We're talking like as if every teacher do that. I ain't gonna lie. There's been some times that I just overlook some students, and like even like this year, as we talking, there's a student that comes to my mind that I just overlooked. You know, and I'm like, man, where's this student? And I get caught up. Like November is busy for me, and I just get caught up. Or could that happen to you? Because I'm telling you, in November you got the ball, you got all this other type of stuff that I'm trying to do. That month could be heavy for me, and it just totally missed my mind.
But it's different for you. You see your students every other day.
Yeah, you see them every day.
I see my students every single day. Yeah. Before we move, I account for all of my students.
And it's got to be harder for a high school teacher, because if you're teaching history, you may teach 2 different types of history.
Yeah.
But you do see them every day. So 2 days would be the max for you. That would make sense. I totally understand that. So being in tune with that parent having that parent be in tune. Because a lot of people like to impose it on the education system. Like, we're to break down this system.
Yes. Because I had a parent ask me, I had already told the entire class about missing work. Had them write it down. I went through, had them write it down. I printed it out for each student, gave them a slip. Then I had a parent ask me, the student wasn't doing the work. So the student told the parent they didn't know where to find it. They didn't know where to find their work at. So I talked to the parent, and the parent asked me if I could write down which work the student was missing and where the student work was. And I'm going to be honest with you, the only thing I told her was,
I told her,
I've already showed the student where the work is. And I honestly had to remember to be professional, because
I already went over this with you.
I've already done too much.
Yeah.
I told her everything short of, no, I'm not doing it. I really wanted to tell her, no, I'm not doing that.
Did you tell her? What did you tell her?
I told her the student has been shown and given them their missing work already several times since October. They know exactly what I'm taking a grade for.
So, because me being that parent, because I'd be like, can you give it to me?
And she did ask, ma'am, that's
and
not my responsibility.
That's what you said?
Yes. And she was like, well, maybe if he finds where he wrote it down. And I was like, well, I can show him again, but I'm not writing it down. Because your student
that's fucked up.
Sees exactly where.
That's fucked up.
What? No, it's not.
That's fucked up.
Like I tell you, I have 24 students.
No, I don't know. It could, to some people it could be, to some people don't. You know, it's you. What I mean, you got to do what's good for you in that classroom.
The reason I felt like that way, because during parent teacher conference we talked about missing assignments. She said she was going to get her student an agenda, because she asked him. He was like, where's the agenda from the beginning of the year? And I was like, if you're talking about the ones that the school normally gives, they didn't give it this year. Oh, well, I'll just go out and buy him one, and then he can write. Haven't seen the agenda. So every morning, my first slide for morning work tells them what they need to do. Complete missing works in Canvas, weeks 14, 15, 16, or whatever. And that slide has been up there. That's the first slide they see when they come in the morning. I even minimize the morning announcements so they can see that slide. And he just ignores it.
You're choosing to ignore it.
Yep. And I definitely think I do too much. There's a student in my class whose parent works in the building. I physically printed out what his missing work was and walked it down to her classroom.
She could have came and got it from your classroom.
Mm-hmm. Or he could have just did his work.
Oh, that too.
Yep. So he took his laptop home and the papers. He came back the next day. I asked him, did you bring any of the papers back completed? No, I left it at home. Where's your laptop? I left it at home. So I politely called his mom in the middle of her class to let her know that
He left his laptop at
he
home.
left his laptop.
Did he ever
and
get his
the
laptop
papers
back?
at home. He left it at home. He got it the next day. But he thought that him leaving his laptop at home
Would make him not do no work.
So I called the DLS, the Digital Learning Specialist,
And got him a spare laptop. Oh,
yes.
wow. Yeah, that is doing too much. But then he would have been a distraction to your class.
But he don't bother nobody. He just sits there,
Oh.
even if he have his laptop.
So he's not like one of those that's always talking to people. Because usually students like that are always here. They're a distraction to the classroom. But, interesting. Okay. All right, people. This concludes this episode. Thank you for once again for listening in to the Power Team Well podcast, where I try to give you the best 30 minutes possible. So thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Stay motivated, people.